Morning. I know what you're thinking. Zach, isn't in the sewer pretty bad? Isn't sleeping with a guy for 6 years that will never love you back pretty bad? Yes. When I tell you that these are the worst hookup stories, I mean worst in terms of like bad. Like you're bad. You're bad. Because you know what? On the last call, I was in Vancouver and I was looking for love. And I did find love in Ethel Kane, but I did not find love in a man. Yeah. But you know what? I'm not going to give up because I can't afford to give up. I need someone to touch me. Hello? And I live in the middle of nowhere. There's no one here that wants my cookies. Do you want my cookies? Do you? There's no one here. But I can't give up. And you know what? When there's no one there to munch your cookie, you know what you have to do? You got to do it yourself. And that, my friends, is where Balesa comes in. Because when I tell you my cookie has never been munched like this before. By man or machine. To me, the most beautiful part of Balesa isn't just to see how far the human race has come in terms of cookie munching technology. It's that they just want us all to have a little fun and just be little freaks and celebrate it. You may have been fooled much like I into thinking that this is the most advanced stroker on the market. You fool! The Ultra Blow? When I tell you I'm about to become a cyborg. Because this thing ain't coming off. Balesa, more like Balesa up. I mean, what do we even need men for? Now, obviously, I'm not some kind of freak. I haven't used this Ultra Blow yet, but trust and believe as soon as, boop, I end that call, literally anyone can use this because it's one button. Hell yeah. And if you're a real gooner like me, there's 4 patterns and 4 speeds. All you gotta do. Cut the cameras. And just look how beautiful this thing is. They made it transparent, so then I don't have to be cucked. And if I want to be cucked, I can just cover it up. And it's fine. And if you're nothing like me and you actually have a partner, you can just slap the Ultra Blow on. And when I tell you, it's not just pleasure. This is precision engineered performance. Now, this one goes out to any of my girls and anyone that has a coochie, okay? I'm talking about the Halo 2. Now, this isn't any cock ring. It's the Halo 2, baby. Mwah. Will you make me the happiest man in the world? Now, the Halo 2 is probably the most multifaceted thing since potatoes because you don't even need a partner to use this. You can put it around como este, other weapons in your arsenal. Balesa has truly blessed us because this thing is stronger, quieter, and lasts longer than ever before. I'm gonna squirt. And ladies, this one truly goes out to you because I know what you're dealing with. I know these straight men don't know what the hell they're doing. So just pull this thing out of your pocket and say, hey, why don't you just throw this thing on, huh? And you will be coming out on top. Whatever situationship you have yourself in, this is the perfect way to keep those good vibes going, huh? Cut the cameras. I love you. Now, you know what they say, best for last. And the P-Vibe Flicker, I think they crafted this one just for me. Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Now, this one, I'm not even going to lie, is the one I'm most excited for. Because when I tell you, as soon as I end the skull, this one is going right up my ass. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but Balesa, thank you. Because you have blessed me. Because as soon as this camera's off, this is going right up my butt. Just look at the design of this thing. If you know, you know. They built this for us boys who like to have a little fun. And I'm not going to apologize for that. All of the vibration is targeted right here. And you know, if you know, you know, that if you put that on your spot. I'm sweating just thinking about this because at the tip, you have 3 speeds and 4 thumping patterns. And at the base, 3 speeds and 7 vibration patterns. Ah! And again, if you're in a situation that is different than me, you can just hand this little remote over to your friend and let them take control. The P-Vibe Flicker. You will always be famous. You may not know this, but my main goal in life has always been to munch everyone's cookie. And now, I'll technically be able to. Because we're doing a giveaway, and the link is in the description. Thank you so much to Balesa for sponsoring this FaceTime. Woo! Is anyone else hot? YouTube, I'm a boy. Don't get mad that I just showed nipple. Even though girls should be able to show them too. Yes, this is that chopped ass shirt that I bought when we went thrifting. But it's hot as balls. And I look like trade. No, I don't. One thing I do appreciate about this shirt is what it does for my waist. And you know, I may be a little petite guy, but hey, I'm no stranger to loving on a big boy. So you can only imagine that back in the day when I was a club kid who would go to the club like twice a year because it's 3 hours away. When I was dancing, woo, woo. And then this big, beautiful boy approaches me. I'm interested. One thing about me is when I'm at the club, you cannot get me off that floor. Try. trying to get me off the floor. So just imagine I'm on the dance floor. I'm sweating. This big, beautiful boy, dark hair, beautiful man comes up to me and he's like, hey, you're really cute. And like, woo, we're dancing together. We're having a good time. And then we start smooching. We start smooching, doing a little kissing. Because we're at the club. It's a gay club, okay? I was not doing this at a straight bar because, trust and believe, blah! Now, this is like a typical nightclub, like gay club. It's called Twisted in Calgary. It has the lights flashing and it's like dark and grungy and it's like, So obviously, it's a gay club. There's freak shit happening all around us. So when this guy was kissing on me, I was like, why don't we, maybe take this to the next level. Obviously, I'm not talking about public fun because I'm not trying to get arrested. So this big, beautiful man and I have been dancing. He's been grinding on it. I'm not going to lie. And obviously, there was some movement. My tail was wagging. There's gay people in there. So obviously, there's like freaky shit happening all around. Like no one's actually like getting full freaky, but there's freakiness happening. You can see it. You can smell it. So I go down on one knee. I raise my hand and I say, my liege, take my hand and meet me out back. So him and I leave the club hand in hand. We're talking. We're having a great time. I really like this guy. He's like really sweet. But I'm like, he lives in the city. I live in the country. I'm sure this is just like a one night sort of fun time. That's the vibe that was set up. And I was okay with that. We go to the back of the club, look around. Oh, there's people sucking and fuck. So him and I are walking behind the club hand in hand, just like, hey, oh, what a big old nose you got. So obviously we had to go find somewhere more private. So we go to the back of this building, more private. It's in the middle of the city, just in a back alley. But you know what? I like to live a little. I'm a country boy. You could literally go wherever you want. There's no one around. So there's not even any thrill. And yes, I did just say I'm not trying to get arrested. But I wasn't thinking about that right now. So him and I are behind this building and we're making out. We're like, woo, we're still a little sweaty from the club. Like it's kind of, So then him and I are making out and his head goes a little lower. And while he's down there, I'm on the lookout. Like, I'm not trying to catch a case. And then what do I see? Coming from right around the corner? A fucking ambulance. So the ambulance just comes around the corner. I'm like, get up. So I get him up and then we're just like, hi. My pants are undone. And I hope and pray to this day that ambulance driver did not see my face. He did not see anything else because once everything is situated and everything's back in place, I look behind me. Whose idea was it to stand behind an ambulance garage? Whose idea was that? I guess in hindsight, it's probably a good idea because, I got the dick of death. So that was definitely number 5 in my worst hookups because I could have caught a case. Number 4 is a very special man because he was a friend of my friend's and he came down here. He wasn't from Canada. And I like my boys, como este, exotic. That being said, he was just German, so. But he had a really fun accent, and at this time, me and my friends, we were all working at this golf course. And let's just say, for the sake of, lawsuits, that none of this part actually happened. Okay, this is all a joke. But there was this huge, event happening at the golf course, and all my friends were there, he was there, and we were all drinking and partying. I'm just now realizing that 2 out of 5 of these stories involve me drinking. Do I have a problem? Yes. Now, I didn't know this guy was gay. None of my friends knew he was gay. They didn't say anything about it. But when I bumped into him at the golf course, he did have a thick German accent, which could sound a little fruity to some. I'm just going to say it. I'm part German. But I went up to that man and I said, that's a fucking queer. My gaydar has never been wrong, but sometimes I wish it was. Now, this German man is quite artsy, and he'd asked me if I happened to know who Leonard Cohen was. And because Short and Sweet had just come out by Sabrina Carpenter, and I listened to Dumb and Poetic, I knew who Leonard Cohen was. Jack off to lyrics by Leonard Cohen. For some reason, I don't know why, as soon as I said I knew who Leonard Cohen was, a light switched in his eye. And he was all over me all night, and then that's when my friends were like, oh, he's gay. And as you know, I'm just a drunk who likes to have a little fun. So when I saw that light switch and he was all over me, I was like, hey, I got nothing else going on tonight. Might as well, right? Just remember, we're at a golf course. There's 50 people there. So there's people all around. But I know, since I work there, that there's one place that people aren't. The golf cart shed. So he's just trying to munch my cookies. There's people all around and he's trying to munch them. He's trying to munch them and I say, boy, come with me. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of sucking dick and cock. So him and I wander out of the golf clubhouse, and we just wander out. We just go around back to where they store the golf carts. Allegedly, of course, in theory, this really never happened. But him and I are sitting on that golf cart, and again, the 2 stories where I'm drinking, I'm also getting suckied. So while he's slobbing on me knob, I'm of course on the lookout. I'm on the lookout because I'm not trying to catch a case. I'm just gonna say it. I don't really care for getting my knob slobbed, okay? Does that make me the villain? Then I'll be it. So I look down at him and I pull his head up and I say, boy, what do you say we just go back into that clubhouse and we just have a couple more drinks, because you know me, I'm trying to get tipsy. I'm trying to get wasted. And then after, once the party subsides, we'll go back, because I was staying with my friend's house. I lived at my friend's house, and we'll go back there. And since you're friends of theirs, like, you're going to be staying there anyways. And then we just see what happens, right? This German guy and I are drinking, and his energy, he feels like more dominant than I, okay? Just whatever. I don't want to hear it. And you know what? I've told you guys everything, and I trust what I'm about to say next is not going to leave the two of us. It's not going to leave this call, okay? So I'm like, okay, so I know what the vibe is. I'm going to have to go back and get my things to prepare myself for what is going to happen. If you know, you know. So I'm just walking down the street with my douche in hand, because you know what? If a guy wants to be a little bossy bottom every now and then, he can be. Also, I don't care that I'm sweating through my shirt. It's hot as hell. As I'm walking back, my friend's car pulls up, and I'm not even halfway to the golf course. I'm just like, what the hell? What is she doing here? And then the back window rolls down, and this man, he's like, Zach! And he crawls out of the back of the window and chases to me. He runs to me. I've never had a man run to me, and it wasn't like threatening. It was like fun. It was like he wanted me. So we're reunited. He's embracing me, and he's like, Zach, I missed you. Where did you go? And I pull out my douche and I say, get this, old friend. Our embrace ends. We both get in the car, and then we're all on our way to my friend's house where we're all staying. And I say to my one straight friend, I say to him, please, I'm not, like, I wasn't on prep at this point. I said, please, do you have anything that will protect me in this battle I'm about to face? And he, being the G that he is, he pulls out a Magnum condom from his wallet. 10 years expired and the condom did not break. So shout out to you, Magnum, and shout out to practicing safe sex, everyone. So the party's kind of continuing at my friend's house, and I just pull out that Magnum condom, and then I pull out the douche, and I look at that German boy and I say, do you want to party? So I get ready, I hop in the shower, I get all dolled up for my boy, and then him and I we hit the sack. And by hit the sack, I mean, you know what I mean. And honestly, the next day was kind of beautiful. We woke up beside each other, just like, what the hell happened? Except for the fact that I had a hangover from hell. But I've never seen that German man again, and I hope he's okay. Now, in all honesty, this third hookup story is truly only topped by the date that I went on with that guy in terms of emotional damage. Now, just to give you a little context for the end of this story happened a week before I went on that date. So it's safe to say that was the darkest period in my life. So back last year when I was still on my Grindr and Tinder shit, I was swiping on Tinder and I saw this man and I said, that's a beautiful man. And he looks silly and goofy. So I swipe right. It wasn't a match, but a couple months later, I opened the hellscape that is Grindr and I see, oh my God, it's the same man. It's the same man. Oh my God, it's destiny. So I shoot my shot on there. He answers back. And honestly, on Grindr, like, I gave up on it because everyone is at least an hour and a half away from me. There's no one actually in my vicinity. And I'm never, like, worked up enough to drive an hour and a half. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. So when I see that this man is 15 minutes away, I say, oh my God. Oh my God, something can actually happen. And we're talking, we're having a good chat, and things get freaky. And it's obviously just a hookup. This time I knew that going into it. So he basically asked up front, he's like, are you down to clown? And I say, am I down to clown? I was born in a game. Mongo. A little fun fact about this man is that he was a Hutterite. He was born on the colony. And in case you guys don't know what a Hutterite is, that's like an Amish man. So it was just fun. I just thought it was fun. I thought it was fun. And I'm like, they need loving too. And I'm the guy to give it to them. So he also has a fun little German accent. So when I hop in his truck, which in hindsight, extremely dangerous, but do not worry, I had my location turned on for my friends, which you guys should always do if you're going to hook up with someone. The first thing he does when I get into his truck is he hands me a cigarette. And I say to myself, I love you. So him and I are just having a good old country time. We're smoking cigarettes, we're driving around, yapping, having a good old time. And you know when you hang out with someone and you just know that when it's time to munch the cookie, that it's gonna be good as hell. That was the situation that I found myself in. The tension in that truck, you could slice it with a knife. And he did sort of slice the tension in a sense when he was talking about hunting. And then he just pulled out his rifle, which he just had in his truck. And I thought I was gonna get shot. So blah, blah, blah. We've been yapping. He pulls over to a dirt road in the middle of the country. And he says, get in the back seat. I say, Why, yes, sir. So safe to say, I get in the back seat, he gets in the back seat, we get freaky, and it lasted 5 minutes. So after it happens, we're just sitting in the back seat. He hands me another cigarette. Ugh. And we're just naked in the back seat, smoking cigarettes. Life's great. He drives me back to my parents' house, and we're just sitting up front, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's time to go. And then he locks the door, and I'm like, well, this is who Wendy Williams is talking about when she talks about the killer. Except in reality, he just hands me another cigarette, and he's like, no, I'm not done talking to you. And I said, okay. So we just continued yapping for like an hour and a half after that, and it was great. And I was like, you know, I could definitely put this man in my roster. I definitely could. I was like, hey, we should definitely do that again because that was fun. And he said, hell yeah, I'm down. And then I was like, you free tomorrow? He said he was. Tomorrow comes, he doesn't answer. So I'm like, okay, you know what, that's fine. We can just do it another time. Like back to back freaking, like that's so unlike me. I keep talking on and off, but nothing's really coming of it. So I'm just like, you know what, that's fine. That was just a fun time. But I always have him in my mind. I always have him in my mind because we had good banter and he was fire. I should probably preface this by saying that the Hutterite and I, before our conversation fizzled out, he did say to me that he wasn't looking for a relationship. And you know what? I respect that. That's totally chill. But I was on Snapchat a couple weeks later. I know it's corny. And you know how it shows if you have the same best friend as someone, there'll be like a little emoji. Well, this guy that I used to talk to way back in the day, we had never hooked up or anything. We just yapped. Him and I shared the same best friend. And my best friend at that time on Snapchat was the Hutterite. Are you following? Just for a little fun, I messaged him and said, oh, you know the Hutterite? I know him. He's a pretty cool guy, right? And he said, yeah, he's basically in love with me. We've been seeing each other for a couple weeks now. I said a couple weeks. So that aligns perfectly. Oh, the other woman, yet again. And you know, that did kind of sting because I had been other womaned before. But this was the first time when someone said, I didn't want a relationship. And then they actually did, just not with me. I do think I am the problem. But I didn't say anything about that because I like to be civil and lead with love and light. So I just said, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you guys. Good for you. I'll just say the Hutterite's lover's name is Amanda, okay? So a couple months later, the Hutterite messaged me and was like, why have you been talking to Amanda? And I said, I haven't been talking to Amanda. Like, what are you talking about? Like, him and I had messaged before, but, like, we never really felt each other like that. Like, that wasn't the vibe. It was more just friends vibes. And he said, why were you messaging Amanda? Get my wife's name out your mouth. I wish more than anything that I had screenshots of these messages because he was just so aggressive for no reason. Like, I don't like Amanda. I don't like Amanda. I don't know what your problem is. So he said, just so you know, I was never even attracted to you. You're chopped in unk. And all I said to that was, that's great, with an exclamation point. And then in a move that nobody saw coming, I blocked him. But what he said was basically just a more aggressive telling of what I was going to be told the next week when I went on that date. He basically was just like, you're ugly, you're busted, you're chopped. I pity pounded it. Number two. Now, number two is a lot more of a fun one because I knew that retelling that last story was going to get me down in the dumps and get me down in my feels. And look at this. I'm sweating. I'm sweating just telling it. And I just know that after I end this call, I'm going to be turning my P-Vibe flicker to max power. Number two actually involves Noah Beck. Now, if you don't know who Noah Beck is, you can just watch that FaceTime call. It's up here somewhere. And it involves a friend of mine because, of course, I'm eating all my friends' cookies. Like, that's what we do. We're just having a little fun. So we were over at my friend's house, and Noah Beck was there, and a bunch of our other classmates were there. And, of course, we were drinking. I'll just say for the sake of the story, my friend's name is Todd. So Todd is there, and Noah Beck is there, and a bunch of my other classmates. And Noah Beck, he loves to get his pump on. And he knows there's a gym down there, but he also knows that Todd and I are fucking gay. And just in case you forgot, Noah also likes to dabble on the dark side. He's a DL boy. Okay? So when we're all upstairs watching the masterpiece that is Shrek, and Noah Beck stands up and he's like, I'm just gonna go get a quick pump in downstairs. Todd and I, we look at each other and we say to ourselves, he's not the only one gonna be getting a quick pump in. Us three are all in the gym and it's summertime, so we're all already in like t-shirts and shorts. But it is hot in that gym. So Noah Beck takes off his shirt and you see the gorgeous body. It's like a gym, okay? It's like a gym. I don't know if y'all know what those look like. I don't, because I don't go to the gym. And Todd, he's not a big gym guy like that either. No shade. But Noah Beck goes over to the bench press. Todd and I are just sipping our wine like queers. What Noah Beck said next is ingrained into my psyche forever. He lays down on that bench press in his little shorts and his hot body. And then he is just going to grab the bar and he says, all right, boys, if I can bench this, you guys can do whatever you want to me. Clearly, he watches a little too much adult content, but also it worked. Todd and I immediately went behind him over to the bar, and he was like, "Ugh," and we just picked it up for him, and then we went immediately to Todd's room. I don't know if it's because I was drinking rum that night, but we were having a good time. We were all having a good time. We were in Todd's bed, just woo, 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 breaking the bed. And I was up. No, I'm not gonna do all that. And you know what? The three of us boys, we had a good night. We went back upstairs. Shrek was just about over, and we just enjoyed it with our friends. Like nothing ever happened. And that brings us to the grand finale. My worst hookup story yet. I say yet because I'm sure there's more to come. Again, this was back in my Grindr days, and I just have to say, I've only hooked up with 3 people from Grindr, okay? In theory and in my spirit, I'm a slut. But in reality, I'm not. This story should really put into perspective that I don't care what kind of guy you are. I don't like to limit myself. I'm down to clown with any sort of man. Okay? So there was this man on Grindr who was 40. He had a DILF vibe going on. Him and I were talking. He said that him and his wife had just got divorced. He was 27 when they got divorced, but they already had 3 kids. So I was like, okay, so you know he's got that potent dad nut. And potent it was. Him and I had made plans to hook up. He met me at the Tim Hortons that I went to when we went thrifting together. Fun little fact. And as the old tale goes, I got into his truck. We parked on a gravel road and we went to Pound Town. Except things did not end well because he ended up como este reaching the finish line into my eye, and then I got an eye infection and like couldn't see out of my eyes for 2 weeks and had to call out of work, and I couldn't just tell them, hey, I got nut in my eye. And it was just so embarrassing for so many reasons. I mean, the freaking was good. It was good, but the ending just overdid everything that happened. And I had to tell all my friends that I freaked too close to the sun. And the worst part is, he didn't even eat my ass.